Hi, I'm Josh Ibarra, and this is my introduction video for EDL 856 School Community Relations Module 1. Um, I am a high school social studies and weights teacher here at Medicine Lodge High School. I am also the head varsity football coach and the head boys basketball coach. I know I just did your typical introduction. After reading those articles, I realized I have a lot of work to do in that area. So, um, anyway, I've been thinking about that for a while, and I just, wanted to come up with something more clever and more along the lines of those articles, but my brain just hasn't been functioning lately due to early morning weights and basketball camp. So I've been just kind of running on E for the last 2 weeks. Anyway, like I said, I am a teacher at the high school here at Medicine Lodge. Medicine Lodge is a small town. We are a 2A school in south central Kansas. If you know where Pratt is, we're 30 miles south of Pratt, right? About 30 miles from the Oklahoma border, or 20 miles or so. And we've been getting a lot of rain, so it's been a crazy spring so far, and we just kind of been going from there. You'll see pictures throughout this of my family and friends, and this is all my family here. But anyway, school community relations, as far as the relationship between your school and your community, I believe is very vital. I think that the school should be the center of your community. Um, I understand that different jobs, different whether it be you're an agriculturally centered kind of community, or here we have a mill, that gyp mill, so we produce a lot of gyp products, wallboard like sheetrock, and that's a big industry here in our town. Oil is big here in this area as well, but all that stuff kind of fluctuates, and depending on the economy, your school, maybe your health professions, those types of things are really the center of your community. So you have to have a strong relationship with the members of your community to maintain your school. I think you have to have a very open line of communication. We do a pretty good job here utilizing different resources, whether it be, obviously our newspaper, or newsletters. We also have a Facebook page. We have a web page. Um, we have most of the parents on email lists. So we have different means to really get the word out of what we're doing, and to hopefully keep everybody on the same page. And then, most importantly, we've got to work together. I kind of mentioned this just a second ago, but if your community members have no idea what's going on with the school, they're going to feel like they're not part of what you're trying to do. So we make a concerted effort here to really bring them in, really get their opinion, really keep them informed on what's going on here, especially with all the changes now to education here in the state of Kansas, since Randy Watson has kind of taken over, in the idea of getting kids on the right path as far as their career, or just their future in general. All of this is exciting and it's new, and sometimes it's a little frustrating or it's a little overwhelming, but it's all moving in the right direction. With all of this stuff, all this new stuff, we are very, very big on making sure our community members, our parents, all know what is going on. And parent-teacher conferences is another way. Obviously, we can do those. We do student-led conferences instead of parent-teacher conferences. But yeah, just staying in the loop, making sure they know. We're trying to pass a bond issue. That's another thing that's kept us, in open lines of communication with our community. But doing what we can, because, like I said, I feel like school should be the center of your community. As far as ideas for improvement, I think social media is something that can be utilized, and can be very good. I also see a lot of negatives with it, but you can do things with social media where you're going to reach a lot of people very quickly. So as far as the community is concerned, like I said, our school has a Facebook page. I have a Facebook page for our football team, and I use that to try and get word out about basketball as well, and different things. I also use an app called Remind. And with this app, and there's a number of teachers here that use this and coaches that use this. The parents can sign up, kids can sign up, and you can send basically a giant group message out to anybody that's in the group or that has signed up to your particular class. And when you send that message out, they all get it. They don't see your phone number, so you're not giving away your phone number. And they can message you back on there if you want. It's a free app. It's just standard text messaging, rates and things that apply to that. So very easy to use. But I was very reluctant to utilize Facebook. I still am not a huge fan of Facebook personally, but it does help. I've been able to reach a lot of people through Facebook when it comes to coaching and getting word out about different things. As far as other bits of social media, maybe Twitter's huge, Instagram is big, so I can see those being very, very beneficial at times. I can, once again, I can also see some negative aspects to those, but if you can manage that and keep maybe some of that negative stuff out of it, you could reach a lot of people very quickly. Weekly or biweekly meetings with students. I think this could be something. I've considered this in the past. Just meeting with them very quickly in the mornings or before school or right after school or whatever. Just talk to them about what's going on, how are they doing, how are your classes going, yada yada yada. We are going to start doing some of this stuff with the social emotional stuff that we're working on from here on out with what's coming from the Kansas board and everything, but maybe even more personal, utilizing that in or with just your class, so my American history classes. So that's something that if you can figure something out like that, I think that could be beneficial. A newsletter or email blast, if you can get all your students' parents and put together a newsletter, even if the kids are putting together the newsletter, or send out just a quick email blast, something that updates the parents on or the community in that regard on what is going on in your class or in the school at that time. Teach them how to introduce themselves. After reading all these articles and doing the little quiz that we had for this, I think that's incredibly important, knowing how to introduce yourself and not just a lot of our kids are very tied into media and social media and all this wonderful stuff these days that a lot of them don't know how to handle a face-to-face interaction with other people. So teaching them how to introduce themselves properly, whether that's just giving a nice firm handshake and a smile, to, as these articles mention, not just listing what you do or facts, but telling a story, trying to create intrigue in a sense, or being a problem solver or any of that kind of stuff. So this would be one way to kind of build a relationship with your students, teaching them how to introduce themselves, and then you can utilize this during student-led conferences or parent-teacher conferences or whatever format you guys use. So anyway, excited to see how this class goes, excited to see what everybody has to say about the different ways to interact with your community and the different relationships you have with your parents and your community and your students. So yeah, thanks.